This video explains how to change prices dynamically on your schedule by using advanced pricing rules. There are several ways to set prices on your schedule, ranging from simple to advanced. With fixed prices, you set an unchanging price for each resource, class, or service that you offer. When the price is based on a drop-down, you can set a different price based on a user-selected option. We have a separate video to explain this. This video is about setting advanced pricing rules, allowing you to change the price based on any pricing rule you can think of. There are many different possible applications for pricing rules, but some of the common examples are weekend or seasonal pricing, where you change the price dynamically based on the day of the week or during high season. Occupancy rate pricing, to adjust the price based on the number of spots available. And duration-based pricing, where you can, for example, add a surcharge for short rental or give a discount for longer stays. You can also use pricing rules for charging deposits and for tax applications. Setting up pricing rules differs slightly, depending on the schedule type used. We're going to start by demonstrating how to set up pricing rules for this type of schedule, called a resource schedule. The resource schedule is the most common schedule type, where users schedule an appointment or make a reservation within the time frame that you have set. On the dashboard, go to the configuration of the schedule for which you want to set up pricing. On the Resources tab, scroll down to the section Price. Select the option Depends on Date, Length, or Resource, and save the changes. Navigate back to the same place and click Set up Pricing. This is the page where you can configure the pricing rules. Let's start by setting a base price. For our holiday home example, the user can book any number of days, so it makes sense to calculate the price per day rather than per reservation. Now let's set both weekend and seasonal pricing. For the weekend, we increase the price by $25. To do this, select the drop-down behind Perform Action. Here you can see all the things you can do with pricing rules. For the example, choose Increase the price by and then enter the increase per day. In the next part, you indicate when to apply this action. Note that you can combine several of these conditions. On the drop-down menu, behind the weekday is, select one of and then select the days where the increase is applied. Now save the changes in order to add a second rule. Next, let's configure an increase during the holiday season. In this case, prices are increased by a percentage. Select that option and enter 50%. From the drop-down behind the date is, choose between. Now select a start and an end date. Notice that the condition for the weekdays are still there, and we need to remove that to apply the increase for all days during the holiday and not just the weekend. Now save the changes. You can now test the pricing rules directly on this page. First, select some days that fall inside the weekend but outside of the holiday season. Notice that the price correctly reflects the total for 3 days plus the increase of $25 for weekend days. Because Sunday is selected as the checkout day, the extra amount is only added for Friday and Saturday here. Next, select a couple of weekdays during the holiday season. The increase of 50% is correctly added for the 3 selected days. It's also possible that both pricing rules apply. To test this, select a couple of days that fall in the weekend and also in the holiday season. First, the price is increased for the weekend days. Then, the price is increased by 50% for all the selected days. Perhaps you now realize that the order in which the pricing rules are listed can be important. Therefore, it's possible to change the order of the rules. To demonstrate this, we change the order of the rules by clicking and dragging the rule. To see the result, remove the information that is still there to ensure you don't create a new rule and then save the changes. As you can see, the total price is now lower because the 50% is no longer applied to the higher price during the weekend. Another thing to point out is the difference between increasing the price versus increasing the total. In the examples that we looked at, the increase was added to the price, so it was multiplied by the number of days. If you apply the increase total by rule, a fixed amount is added on top of the calculated price. You can also decrease the total. For example, when a registered member of your club makes a reservation. For this, you would first need to create a group and place all club members in that group. You can then select the group for this rule, as shown in the example. A final rule that can be relevant for this type of schedule is increasing or decreasing the price based on the length of the booking. For example, you could give a discount for a longer stay. In the example, we automatically apply a discount of 10% for a stay of 2 weeks or longer. Now, with a schedule of the capacity type, some things are different. If you're not familiar, capacity schedules are typically used for classes and events. On a capacity schedule, multiple people can sign up for the same slot. Let's look at what's different. First, enable pricing for this schedule under price. On a capacity schedule, there are usually several slots on the schedule that can be booked. The price can be set for each new slot that you create for users to book, so the option to enable pricing looks different. Like before, go back to where you can enable pricing. If you scroll down to the conditions, you'll notice that some options are not there, which only apply to resource schedules. You may also notice that there are 2 conditions that are only available on capacity schedules. The condition "the quantity is" only available when you allow users to book a slot multiple times and could be used to give a quantity discount. The condition "the space left is" can be very useful to fill up your class or event. For example, you can lower the price by a percentage when there are still many spots to be filled. Finally, let's take a look at pricing rules on a service schedule. For service schedules, each service has its own base price, which can be set while creating or editing the service. Therefore, when you look at the pricing rules, the price is already calculated based on the selected service. You can apply further rules per service using the condition "the service is." In this example, we have also defined a drop-down field with additional services. Because there is a drop-down field defined, the action "Add field to price" is now available too. When we select this and save the changes, the price for the additional services is added to the total when we select one. Note that such a drop-down is also possible for the other schedule types, not just for service schedules. To learn how to set this up, check out the separate video about this. We've now covered most of the features of advanced pricing, but the documentation provides even more information. We hope this was helpful. Thank you for using SuperSaaS.